Hey guys, tonight we've got Forrest Johnson in studio. Forrest has ran 46 marathons in 45 different states. He's going to run 3 in the next 4 weeks, and by the fall he's going to have one in all 50 states. You don't want to miss this episode. Let's go! All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. How you doing, Forrest?
Very well. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. I've been seeing Julie posting things about this marathon running, and it's fascinating. And I said, I got to reach out and see if I could get him to come down and talk to me about it.
Sure. Well, thanks for the opportunity. Pleasure to be with you today.
Now, I do have to tell you before we get started, we had your daughter, Mary Blair, in here. And I don't think you're going to be able to top that.
I don't know that I am either. I got big shoes to fill. No two ways about it.
I told her that she's not welcome back because I'm scared that our viewers are going to vote me out and vote her in.
Lose your job.
She's
right?
like a little professional. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But she was awesome. And a lot of you guys out there don't know that Forrest and I combined have ran 46 marathons now. So I'm going to let y'all catch that joke or not. So let's talk about where you grew up here in Natchez.
Yeah, born and raised. Lived here my whole life.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
Went to Natchez, graduated from Natchez, then went to Ole Miss, did my undergraduate in business administration, and actually did an MBA at Alcorn here in Natchez.
Okay, yeah. Awesome, yeah. And so did you run track in high school and college?
I did not. I played baseball in high school, and I was average athlete, but played baseball in high school. Yep.
So you've ran 46 marathons in 45 states, is that?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So what got you to thinking about your first marathon? When did you think about it?
Yeah, it really kind of started in college when I was at Ole Miss. We ran the Crescent City Classic in New Orleans, a 10K race. It's always the Saturday before Easter, and I remember running that one year, just had a blast. Just, never done anything quite like it. The energy of the crowd and, the party afterwards, just a lot of fun. And so it kind of got to be a bit of an annual thing. Probably ran it, 7-8 years in a row. And that was it. I'd run a 10K and, I'd run a little bit here and there, but never more than a 6-mile run. And after a couple of years of doing that, somehow got the idea to run a half marathon, and there was a half marathon in Memphis, the St. Jude half, which was in December, and I can't tell you exactly when it was, but I remember training for it. There was a 10-mile run you would do training up to the half marathon. And that 10-mile distance just blew my mind. I just, how am I going to do this? This is, it's not even possible to run.
That's
this
where
far.
I'm at right now.
Yeah. Well, and so I guess I'm on the other side of it. But it was. I remember that being a really big psychological hurdle. That 10 miles, and it was awful. I did it on a treadmill. I can see myself running it, and it was bad weather. It was cold when I was training for that particular one, but I did it on a treadmill and got a 10-mile knocked out, and then ran the half in Memphis, and that kind of satisfied that itch for a little bit. So.
And you survived and said, maybe there's more.
Survived, and I remember we went and ate at the Rendezvous afterwards, and you walk down the stairs down into the restaurant off of the alley there, and I had the hardest time walking. My legs were so stiff on those stairs. I said, Julie, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of here. And I ended up making it out fine, but I was pretty stiff, never run that far before.
So what age did you do that?
That probably would have been around 2007, 2008, maybe, something like that. So it would have been probably, 27, 28. And then, a couple years after that, said, if I can run a half, I can run a full. Yeah. And so started kind of working on a full from there.
Wow. And so now looking back, you've hit 45 different states. Mm-hmm. And I think I read that you're going to, I must have misread this because this is crazy. Did it say that you're going to run 3 in the next 4 months must be, right?
Yeah, well, it's actually I'm planning to run 3 by the end of the month in May, and this is I've run them a couple weeks apart before, but a lot of this now is starting to be there's not many states left to choose from, so when you first start, you can kind of choose what you want, and it's pretty convenient.
The dates work out,
right? Now it's kind of like, look, there's a marathon in Vermont on this date. You got to be there, and so that's kind of where I am. And so the way it falls, there's 3 that I'm planning to run in the next couple of weeks.
Oh my goodness, man, that's amazing.
From regular family checkups to sedation dentistry, orthodontics and cosmetic dentistry, experience dental care the way it was meant to be, right around the corner from a name you can trust, Miss Lou Family Dentistry.
Come see us for all your handmade and fine jewelry needs here at 415 Main Street in Natchez, Mississippi. You can also find us on the web at riseandshinestudio.com. Always remember to smile big, shine bright, and enjoy the journey.
Hey guys, we just wanted to take a minute and tell you about our awesome partners who make this show possible. Trinity Medical, Sabrina Doré Agency, Miss Lou Family Dentistry, Mart and On The Go Deli, Natchez Heating and Cooling and Plumbing, Concordia Bank and Trust, member FDIC, Hicks Chicks, the Brandin Iron Steakhouse, Hampton Inn and Suites, Natchez, Intensive Home Health Care, The Continental Cook at the Carriage House, Rise and Shine Studio, and Rolling in the Dough. So make sure to let these businesses know how much you appreciate them helping us spread positivity throughout the community. And remember, tell the Miss Lou Champion sent you. Let's talk about training. So what was your training like? You said talking about getting over the 10-mile hump. What was your training like then compared to what it is now?
Yeah. Similar cadence, similar schedule during the week, just more miles, more distance. And so typically run 4 days a week, usually do cross training 2 days a week, and then one day just rest, full stop. Rest, let your body heal. And so a lot of it is trying to be, look, I'm an amateur. I mean, I'm trying not to get injured, trying to, live to run the next one. And so that's kind of my threshold on this, you want to push yourself, but at the same time, not get injured is a big objective.
So have you had any serious injuries along the way?
I have not. I've been very, very fortunate. And that's not lost on me. And that's part of some of the urgency may not be the right word, but I'm kind of ready to finish this. Get all the 50 states. I don't assume that I'm always going to be able to run them, and so I've been very fortunate. No serious injuries, but it's also not something that I take for granted either.
So what was the point where you said, I'm going to run all 50 states?
The first marathon I ran was in Savannah, Georgia, and I ran one in New Orleans, the rock and roll marathon they do in February the following year. So I ran in November in Savannah, and just no major thought, just New Orleans was close, it would be fun. And I started then kind of thinking about a time. I had a goal that I wanted to break a 4-hour marathon, and so in New Orleans, I ran 4 hours, 1 minute, and 16 seconds. And so, 1 minute and 16 seconds. And so I said, come on, I can do that. So worked really hard and literally waited a whole year. Came back and ran New Orleans again the following year. Ran 4 hours, 0 minutes, 24 seconds.
Oh, my goodness.
24 seconds. And that kind of haunted me a little bit. And so I said, I got to get under 4 hours. And so I was going to run another marathon, and somehow along the way it got into my mind that there were people that would run all 50 states. And I said, I'm not ready to commit to that, But just in case I ever wanted to, I might need to run somewhere other than Louisiana again. And so that was sort of the thought there, and it kind of developed out of those roots, I guess.
How do you stay motivated?
You know, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I really enjoy the challenge, and that, you know, probably may sound a little off, but there's something about it, the satisfaction when you finish feels really good. You know, I mean, just a feeling of accomplishment and, you know, doing hard things, doing something tough. And so just something, that part of it really excites me and kind of keeps me coming back. And a lot of reasons. I enjoy the you know, fitness, kind of having something to work at, and I just tend to do better when I'm in you know, on a schedule. And so
do you have like a pre-race routine that you do every time?
Yeah, so, you know, really a week out, I'm starting to be really intentional about what I eat, and just trying to, you know, not eat the sweet, or just be really intentional in drinking a lot of water, just really hydrating. 2 days before, just really hydrating on the water. And it's kind of frustrating because, you know, when you're drinking that much water, I mean, you go into the bathroom you know, literally the night before I'll wake up 3 times in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, but it's part of it. So
yeah, I do that, but it's just I'm getting old.
that may be part of it too. I don't know.
Nothing to do with exercise. Goodness. So there's no, like, I've heard people do like gels and stuff like that. Is there any of that? You
know, I've tried a lot of different things, and sometimes the gels, they're okay, but I've gotten to where I just like these Cliff Bars, and you know, they're more texture like a granola bar, and I actually eat them when I run, and so you know, I'll take 2 or 3 of them in my pockets, and you know, usually about mile 10 take one, usually mile 18, and then around 23, 24 if I need it to get over the hump. So
that's kind of your fuel.
Yeah.
Okay. What about after the race? What does post-race look like?
Look, love that chicken from Popeyes. I mean, just, you know, that's one of my favorite parts is you get to eat when you finish.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it's, you know, pizza or, you know, sandwich or, you know, whatever, but love, you know, that meal afterwards is always good and your body needs it. And, but just, you know, always look forward to eating something good after the race.
So is that the same day or like after the race, or are you just like, I'm out? Or
you know, usually when you finish, and nutrition's really important when you finish. And, you know, they say, you know, within the hour, a couple hours, it's important to have some fuel in your body to replenish. Okay. And so most finish lines have a pretty good kind of post-race selection, you know, bananas, cookies, granola bars. They're all a little different, so it's always a little bit of a dice roll what you're going to get. But, you know, something with carbs, just kind of start getting that nutrition back in your body. Protein's good if you can get it early in too. So, yeah.
So you're pretty depleted at that point.
Oh, yeah. You are out of gas.
What about how long before you run again?
Yep. So normally I'll take a week, just, you know, and it's plus or minus. You know, definitely 2 to 3 days, just rest, relax. Usually try to walk a little bit, day 3 or 4, just to kind of stretch, loosen up a little bit. And usually about day 5 to 7, try to run a couple, 3-4 miles, just to kind of start loosening back up a little bit.
Welcome to your new hospital, Trinity Medical. Located in Faraday, Trinity Medical is the only acute care facility in the Tri-Parish area. Here you will find an active pursuit of holistic health, a strong, honest group of clinicians, and a consciousness of others that transcends the 80,000 square feet committed to you and your loved ones. Trinity Medical. People you know, caring for people you love.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see Shelter Agent Sabrina Doré.
What's been your personal best time?
3 hours, 59 minutes. And, so I did get under 4, and I got it by the hair of my chinny chin. And I was in Las Vegas. They had a marathon at night. We ran through the desert, then you finish on the Strip. And so really good conditions. Gets cool at night in the desert, so real good, cool temperature, and pushed hard, and I was able to get it. I was really proud of that. I remember seeing the finish time when they posted the times, and it was just that was one of the more satisfying parts of this that I've done, because I struggled. It took me a couple years to get under that 4-hour mark.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Was it because you saw a rattlesnake in the desert and you speeded up?
Well, not that I knew of. So.
Yeah, I might. That would probably be my fastest too. I'm like, I got to get through here quick.
get going.
So now this is a relative question, but what has been the easiest marathon so far for you?
You know, I don't know. They're all kind of tough in their own way, and some of them you feel better. Some days you got it. Some days you don't. I don't know that there's been one that's necessarily been easy. I mean, definitely easier or less difficult, but a lot of it I think has to do with what condition I'm in, how well hydrated I'm in. Some days you just don't feel great, and so that kind of can fluctuate.
A lot of variables.
There really are. The weather, the humidity, or I remember I ran in Nashville and there was a 100% chance of rain. Now, it didn't rain until later that afternoon, but it was miserable. I mean, just the humidity, and so that was a challenging one.
And Nashville's a little tricky. Nashville's a little bit hillier than people.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I live there, and my little 1 or 2 mile runs, I'd be like, where does this hill? It doesn't look that big when I'm driving.
Yeah, they feel a lot different when you're on foot than on the car. Yes, indeed.
Goodness. So what about the toughest so far?
Yeah, one of the toughest was I ran in Kansas a couple years back, and there was nothing about the course really, but it was just a hot day, wasn't a lot of shade. I'd getting my annual wellness visit, my physical a week. That week I had blood drawn for the physical, and I still think that may have had a little something to do with it, but that was one I really struggled with. I think that was really the only time I had a moment where I thought I may not have finished this race, and there was a moment where I had to kind of slow down and kind of grind it to a halt, kind of get my compose myself. Yeah. But that was a tough one. Yeah.
What mile was that? Do you remember?
It was early, and that bothered me about it too. It was mile 17, 18. And so you always hit the wall. I mean, usually it's mile 20, 22, 23. You push through it. But I was pretty early, and that's what kind of bothered me a little bit. But persevered, pushed through, and proud to finish that one.
So when you say hit the wall, what does that feel like? I mean, is it just... You feel like you can't go any further?
Yeah. Like every step's hard. I mean,
your legs get heavy. Maybe.
Yeah, heavy's a real good way to think about it. Like there's you dipped your foot in concrete or something. I don't know what analogy to use, but it's just heavy to pick it up, heavy to move it. Just every motion is difficult, and it's interesting because you'll push through it, and so. You hit that wall and you just stay at it. You kind of keep going, you keep grinding, and then it stops. You feel better. You catch your stride again, and you go.
Do you have any type of mental tricks that you use at that point, or is it just power through? Yeah, power through. Really focus on my breathing. Just try not to think about much. Just deep breaths. Try to kind of. My posture, think about the stride, and really just focus on the basics. And that's kind of the thing I'll focus on there. So, yeah. So that's pretty interesting that you bring that up. Is that, I'm sure both. I'm sure my breathing and posture are terrible. But are those things that are very important to completing it? You need to have those things.
Absolutely, and again, I don't know a lot about the science of the body and the anatomy of what's going on, but the ability to get the oxygen into your muscles, that has a lot to do with it. And so big, deep breaths, being able to kind of feed those muscles, get that oxygen in there. And so the breathing, I think, is important, yeah.
And then posture, you're trying to run kind of straight up?
Yeah, trying to keep my legs and just kind of as straight as I can be, shoulders up and just good posture. And I don't know that there's anything magical to it other than that's just something I think about when I kind of hit that wall sometimes. All right, just good posture. Don't just stand up straight, deep breath, and keep going. Stride, stride, stride.
Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. Summer's here, and that means long, hot days in the Miss Lou. Our friends at Natchez Heating and Cooling are here for you. They make sure you never have to worry about your home's health or efficiency. When you need them, they show up. It's as simple as that. So call Natchez Heating and Cooling for all of your HVAC needs.
A new revolutionary green roofing breakthrough is now saving property owners thousands of dollars on roof replacement by greatly extending roof life. Asphalt roof shingles have essential oil that allows for daily expansion and contraction. And as they age, this oil begins to dry out, causing the asphalt to become brittle and slowly break apart. RoofMax is the world's first sustainable roofing solution because it rejuvenates a roof by resaturating it with millions of microbeads of all-natural bio-oil. Like skin moisturizer for your roof, it quickly restores flexibility and waterproofing protection, guaranteed for 5 years. The all-natural treatment is 100% safe for people, pets, property, and the environment. And a RoofMax treatment is quick, easy, and very affordable. Get more life for less money with RoofMax. A powerful fusion of science and nature.
If you like what we're doing here at Miss Lou Champion Spotlight, make sure to like, follow, share on Facebook and Instagram, and visit our website, MissLouChampions.com. It costs you nothing, and it helps us to continue to shine the spotlight on awesome people right here in our community. Are you a music guy or not music?
Yeah, definitely a music guy. So always listen to music on the run. Yeah.
Do you have a playlist that you use, or is it different?
Taylor
Swift?
I don't know that she's on any of my playlists, but
I'm not judging.
No. Big Grateful Dead fan, and so love the Dead. Usually put on a Dead show and just put it on, and that gives me a good 3.5 hours there. Yeah. So usually just put on a show and just go. So.
A good jam band will get you down the road pretty good.
Well, yes, right. You don't need short, peppy music. You need that long, drawn out kind of.
Yeah, the 8-minute song.
There you go. That's what you're doing. Yep.
Do these marathons generally? When it was interesting when you were talking about Kansas a while ago. Do these marathons? Do the cities generally try to schedule them when it's most conducive for success? Like I'm sure Boston's not when it's snowing and stuff. Do you find that most of the ones do that?
I think so, and that's an interesting question. Yeah, I think that's definitely a consideration, and I think it probably plays both ways too, because I think there's some that try to make it as miserable and difficult as they can too. And
which ones would that be?
Look, I ran in Maine back in December. And I think it was like -3.
What?
And it was. And I'm not cut out for that. I've read about those kind of temperatures. I've never dealt with them. And I had a hydration bladder on my back, and never crossed my mind. But about a mile and a half in, I go to take a drink, and it's frozen.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, it literally never crossed my mind to think about that. I'll know now. Probably won't ever run again in that cold of weather.
Yeah.
But so yeah.
What do you do in that moment?
Well, you just, you try to find somebody on the side with a water bottle and grab it. Yeah, no, that's what you do. So,
Yeah. Oh, man.
But there's always a unique little challenge, and that's kind of one of the things that's neat about it, too. You never know exactly what it's going to be, but there's always something. So many variables, there's always one that kind of goes against you.
Yeah, that's, I guess you just never know. When you start, you just, let's see what happens now.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm fascinated by this. So what's your favorite marathon?
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Jackson Hole Marathon in Wyoming. That was
the views are amazing.
Beautiful. I mean, the Tetons. I mean, just gorgeous. And that was really one of the more special ones. San Francisco was really great. Running across the Golden Gate Bridge, just great experience. New York Marathon was special, and Boston was great. A lot of good ones.
New York, is that in Manhattan? Is that?
It is. You go through all the boroughs, and so we definitely went through Manhattan. You go through the Bronx, Brooklyn. Really, really neat to see the city, and that's one of the things that I enjoy about running these races is you get to see the city in a way you don't see the city when you're in a cab going from here to there. Mm-hmm. And even if you're walking 5 blocks somewhere, I mean, yeah, it's great. But when you run through a city like that, you really get to see it in a really intimate way.
Yeah, I tell people that about Natchez. I mean, we're on Orleans, and when I walk to work or something, it's just I pass these houses and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful.
Sure.
And I'm passing in a car.
Yeah, in
all
the car,
time.
you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. What about your least favorite one that you were like, I don't ever care if I go back?
Iowa is a great state. Love Iowa, but it was just a lot of wind. There was nothing to see. I mean, literally you could see just miles and miles. And it was after the corn had been harvested, so it was all flat. And just wind knocking you down. I remember running that one, and I mean, a couple times I felt like I was going to get it knocked over, just blowing you back. And that was more about the wind. I guess it wasn't their fault, but that was a tough one.
They should have not cut the corn until the race was over.
Well, that would have been bad. That might have given us a little reprieve.
What about your most memorable race? Something that kind of jumps out at you?
First one was pretty special. I remember you don't run 26 miles when you're training. 20 miles was the farthest. And so when I ran that first marathon, I remember being fatigued, being disoriented may not be the right word, but just kind of overwhelmed. And I remember looking up and seeing the 26-mile sign. And it took me a minute to process it, but I was like, I'm there. I'm here,
Did it,
and and so it was. That was kind of neat. Yeah.
Is there like a club for the 50 states or something?
There is.
There should be. Yeah.
There is. There's the 50 States Marathon Club, and so I'm a member of that, and looking forward to being certified when I finish. But there is. So there is a group of other people that pursue this objective. Yeah.
If you've ever earned a group, that's one that you earn your way in.
It is, and it's a great group. You talk about the most just upbeat, positive people, and one of the things that I've found really interesting about this is most of the people that are running these 50 states, I mean, a lot of them look the way you'd expect a distance runner to look, but a lot of people are, just out there doing it. They may run 6-hour races, walk half the way, but they're doing it. And so it's not just the stereotypical runner you would envision, but people that are maybe a little older, maybe a little heavier, or not built the way you would expect a marathon runner too. That's been an interesting observation. So.
I saw a news article a while back, and there was a I want to say it was in India or something, and there was a 100-year-old lady that ran a marathon, and I was like, that really makes me feel bad.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could do better. I mean, no, it hasn't changed any of my habits, but it did momentarily make me feel bad. Oh, man. Do you have any type of, like a shoe? Do you wear the same shoes every time, or does it depend on the...
No, I wear the same shoe, and, I'm one of these people that when I find something that works, I stick with it. I don't need to know everything out there. If this works for me, fine, good enough for me. Brooks, so big Brooks fan, and been wearing those for a long time. And I'll usually. It's interesting. I've got about 2 pair now, but a couple months back I had like 5 pair just shoe boxes stacked up in the closet. Get a couple pair for Christmas, right? So that's a popular gift for me to get at Christmas, pair of running shoes, and so go through them about every month or two, switch them out depending on how many miles I'm running. So.
How many miles do you normally get on them? Do you have any idea?
I don't. I kind of watch the tread, and when the tread on them starts to kind of look a little worn, just replace them. And it's one of these things. I may replace them faster than I need to, but it's not lost on me that people get injured, and that's one of the anything I can do to kind of just stack the deck in my favor or mitigate those risks. I try to.
That's smart. We're going to tag them whenever we do this. We're going to tag Brooks and try to see if we can get you a sponsorship.
I love it. Yeah.
We're calling you out, Brooks. Free publicity right here.
And if not a sponsorship, maybe just a discount, right?
We'll take a discount. Yeah. That's right. We're going to tag them and see what happens.
I love it.
So, what's your preference, hot weather or cold weather?
Cold weather. Not too cold. You want it, 50 degrees is really nice. Too hot, I'd rather deal with too cold than too hot.
Okay.
Yeah. You can warm up running a lot easier than you can cool down running.
I can only imagine. So morning or evening? I'm guessing here you're going to say morning.
Morning, yeah. Morning. Sometimes, and that's one of the things like, Boston, you don't start till like 11 o'clock. Well, gracious, most of these you're done by then, and so that's a little different. But I do prefer the morning. The earlier the better. 5 a.m. I'd take it all day, every day.
Is that what you kind of do? You get up?
Yeah, most it is. I do run early, and usually 5 a.m. kind of up and running, and depending on the distance and everything like that. So
yeah. What about flat or hills?
Flat, but you want a little variety, and so I'm not afraid of a hill. I can handle them. It's kind of interesting. I'd almost rather go uphill a little bit than downhill. The downhill's tough. It kind of a little on your knees. You got to
kind of impact, right?
Mm-hmm, it's a little different, and so it's sneaky. You got to be careful. It can make you run a little faster than your pace than you may want to, and so you just got to be prepared to navigate it.
You almost have to pull back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You do,
but intentionally.
You do, but it's that, and it pulls your knee and your leg muscles a little differently to go down, and so. Some of the races where there's a lot of downhill runs, I'll notice you may cramp a little bit more maybe, and just because of the way your muscles are being stressed in a little different way, I guess.
What about around here? I guess you have all of that. Natchez is probably a great place to train because you have a little bit of both.
You do. A lot of great places to run around here. Great
Where are some
hills.
of your favorites to run around?
Yeah, my favorite is the Trace, and I love to go out to Coles Creek, mile 17, go park out there. There's a little restroom at the little rest stop out there, and that's how I got my distance up running marathon races. You do out and back, so if you're doing a 20-mile run, you run 10 miles out, and you don't have a choice. I mean, there's nothing to think about. You just got to get back to the car. And so that was a lot of how I was able to stretch my distances.
That's one way to do it. Not leave yourself a choice. Right. What about run alone or with a partner?
I usually run alone, and not. I love running with partners or other people, but typically, I'm up pretty early, and usually I've got a set distance I'm running, and so I generally just kind of get up, knock it out, and go on about my business.
Yeah, you don't have time to wait around on it.
Yeah.
So last question is, what happens when you complete number 50? What are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate?
Yeah, good question.
We need a party.
Yeah, that's right. We'll throw a party, and it's something that I've been working on for a while, and I'll be really, really proud to achieve it. And I don't know what I'll do next. I'll still run. Probably won't run as much, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
You have anything else in mind, cycling or anything like that you might switch over to?
I've thought about it. It makes me a little nervous, frankly, to ride a bike. I feel like I could wreck a bike and get injured a lot easier. But yeah, we'll keep cycling on the radar, and I love running. It's really one of the few or maybe only times I can just turn my mind off, just relax, not be worried so much about what's in front of me, what I'm doing, but just take time to kind of just relax my mind and just relax. Just
that makes sense. Yeah. What I said last question, but this just popped in my head. What would you say to anybody out there that's looking to get into running, and what would you say to them?
I'd say to definitely go for it. And great thing about running is you're competing against yourself, and that's something that I really like. I mean, you're not going to win the race, and that's okay. Yeah. But do better than you did last time, or run against yourself. And so it's about being a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Be a little better tomorrow than you are today, and that's something anybody can do.
Yeah. Well, man, look. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's been awesome hearing this. I'm telling you, whenever I see it on Facebook, I'm like, it's just so fascinating to see this. And I thought it was an error whenever I said I saw 3 races in 4 weeks, and I was like, that's got to be an error. But,
well, I hope it's not. It may be to be determined, I guess. So we'll see.
So, and look, just so we can put a time on this, this is May the 8th, I think, while we're recording this. So by the time this comes out, you may have already knocked one of them out.
Fantastic.
But so anyway, we appreciate everybody watching this. I think everybody's probably as fascinated with it as I am. We want to thank all of our partners who make it possible for us to sit down and shine the spotlight on awesome people in the community. And we just want to say God bless everybody out there watching this. And as always, have a champion day.